Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
Watch this. And speaking of Kevin O'Leary, the guy that's on Shark Tank on CNBC, he has actually done, I've seen him do an actual commercial on Masterworks. He's apparently uses it too. All right, listen to this.
Okay, I don't know where you are in crypto. You were so negative for a while and just definitive, like you always are. You may know nothing, but you're never in doubt, but you were so negative. Then you got totally positive. Do you own Bitcoin now? Kevin, what's your position in crypto right now? You do. Have you sold
it's
major parts of it? You have a lot of it, or as much?
No, look, Bitcoin is not a coin, Joe. It's simply software. Ethereum is software. If you own, HBAR is software. If you own Microsoft, if you own Google, why don't you own Bitcoin? It's all software. It's productivity software.
You own one Bitcoin? Do you have a real position in it? Because you're a wealthy guy.
I have millions of dollars. 20% of my portfolio is now in cryptocurrencies and blockchain.
This guy went from talking about it not at all to talking about it all the time. With guys like this, I've observed this guy enough in the last few years. If he's talking about something, it's not the time to invest in it, because the things he's investing in right now are the things he's not talking about. That's how these guys operate. So pay close attention. If he's saying Bitcoin and Ethereum, you need to be looking at something else, because that's not how these guys roll. And when they're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's because they're already parked. They want to tell you about it so that you drive the price of what they have up. Okay, now John Deaton had replied to the Warren Davidson tweet, because I'd covered some of this in my last video. We have to ask, why was that time wasted? He's talking about, this is where he said the opportunity was wasted with Clayton at the SEC. Why was that time wasted? Who resigns being chairman of the SEC when he could direct policy, and then immediately talks about how the SEC must get it right? One explanation is that he used the office for personal gain for him and his buddies. We must investigate. And I'll say it again, Warren Davidson, Americans have lost faith in government and these agencies. The only way to restore it is for us to see people like him get investigated, just like average Joe would be investigated. Until we see that, you guys are looking at the decline of the United States, and you're aiding it in being turned into a banana republic, and that's the fact, Jack. Okay, I hope you're listening. All right, now Brad Garlinghouse was on CNBC, which is a mystery in itself. All of a sudden, maybe CNBC is doing some face saving. They gave Brad a whole segment. Let's watch it.
Joining me now, Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. Brad, thank you so much for being here. It's great to see you.
Good to see you, Kate. Thanks for having me.
Of course, it's a big week for crypto with this executive order. What does this mean for the industry, and what's the big takeaway for you?
Look, I think this has been a very positive event, and frankly, we had heard, as I'm sure you had, a lot of rumors about an upcoming executive order, and I think this exceeded my expectations of what we could have even hoped for, because the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging you have one. And for me, the executive order is really calling out something we've been saying for years, that one, this is a massive industry. It's not going away. We have tens of millions of US citizens participating in various ways, which is awesome. But it also is calling out that, look, we have had a fragmented and siloed approach to regulation here in the United States. And that is impacting the United States leadership in this very critical, very rapidly growing industry. So I thought it was a very positive evolution, and I'm hopeful that it'll catalyze some solutions that we haven't seen yet.
And that seemed to be one of the big themes, competitiveness and the U.S. not wanting to fall behind on being on really the forefront of innovation. Do you think that played into it, the U.S. feeling like it might be falling behind?
I think it's clear it had a big impact in why the executive order was written. I think what we have seen really, and you kind of see, particularly the talk about silos, you kind of see to some degree the executive branch saying, hey, this SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, can't take singularly the lead because it has to think holistically. Every time the SEC is mentioned in the executive order, it's alongside the CFTC as well as the CFPB. And I think we have seen here in the United States, things have been withheld. Sorry, they've been moving more slowly. And as to your question, outside the United States, in countries like Japan, in Singapore, in the UK, in Switzerland, even in the UAE, you're seeing entrepreneurs and investors able to pursue opportunities in crypto and blockchain without that uncertainty, because the regulatory clarity has been there. Something Ripple has been calling for from well beyond even the recent lawsuit with the SEC.
So you mentioned the SEC. I got to ask you about the SEC versus Ripple case. What can you tell us about that at this point? What's the latest, and has there been any progress when it comes to that lawsuit?
Well, it's been almost not quite a year and a half since the SEC sued Ripple, sued myself, sued Chris Larson, and we are moving as expeditiously as we can. It has certainly been frustrating to see the SEC drag their feet. This past week, expert discovery wrapped up. The SEC had sought delays around that, and one of the ironies around this has been that Gary Gensler, the chair of the SEC, has been quoted as saying, "Justice delayed is justice denied," and then the SEC goes out and seeks delays. It's rare for a defendant against the SEC to be pushing to see things happen faster, but we think it's very clear that the SEC has overstepped. The SEC has taken what's called the Howey test, which is the test to determine if something's security. They've really stretched it beyond recognition. So I'm hopeful and optimistic we'll see some decisions around some key elements that are before the court today, maybe within weeks. We'll see. I think the questions that that the court has been asking have been very thoughtful, and I'm hopeful that we'll get some clarity soon.
And you've described the SEC in the past as really picking winners, and the idea that XRP as a cryptocurrency has been taken off of exchanges like Coinbase. In some senses, investors have missed out and not been able to trade XRP on those exchanges. Ripple has also seen certain downsides. Is it fair to say that the SEC is picking winners when it comes to XRP or other cryptocurrencies?
Well, one of the things I loved about the executive order, there are a number of themes that we have been at least championing in the marketplace that we saw in that executive order. One of them was about the importance of a level playing field. And as you pointed out, a big part of that executive order was around U.S. competitiveness. And what we saw happen at the SEC is picking winners and losers, saying, hey, we don't think ETH is a security, but we do think XRP is a security, despite a whole lot of similarities. So I think that with the executive order, I'm hopeful that we'll get some of that level playing field we have sought. It's certainly not the role for the federal government to pick winners and losers. I think I'm a supporter and believer in what's happening in the Ethereum ecosystem. There's different use cases, and again, the executive order calls out specific use cases, for example, around cross-border payments, where Ripple has been focused really since the beginning, and how XRP, the digital asset kind of native to our solution, can really solve a lot of problems and benefit many consumers and businesses here in the United States.
Okay, there you go. John Deaton had put this out, this article, I think we talked about this yesterday. No, maybe I didn't. This article is very timely as I'm about to interview the library. This is the other SEC lawsuit going on with the crypto company. John Deaton was going to interview Jeremy Kauffman, who I guess is the founder of Library. Be ready to be even more offended by the SEC. We can celebrate the executive order being positive, but there's an ongoing war against crypto led by the SEC. He's so right. Then he says, I just finished the interview. I promise you that you will become even more outraged by the SEC. If the SEC's theory in the Library case is successful, not only is Ethereum a security, but Bitcoin miners could be considered securities too. Wowzers. Okay, Stefan Huber, the other day we covered this, but he pointed out to me that he's calling, I think he's calling himself an idiot or something. They collaborated. Novogratz says Gary won't give crypto a free pass, but he likes Ethereum. So this was that thing where Mike Novogratz is talking about how he knows he's friends with Gary, but this part we didn't catch. He's not going to give crypto a free pass, but I think he's pro-Bitcoin, pro-blockchain, pro-Ethereum. That reminds me of Mike Novogratz. What was it, 9 days before the Hinman speech? He's on Bloomberg on a TV show, and he says he'll bet, was it dimes to donuts, that Ethereum is the SEC comes out and says Ethereum was a security, but it's not now? Did Mike Novogratz know something? Did he have inside information on this whole deal? That's what we keep wondering. Then Stefan Huber puts this out. Can you slowly put one and one together? Russian Sberbank launches crypto ETF with companies like Coinbase and Galaxy Digital, which is Mike Novogratz's firm. And then Mike Novogratz now is saying Russia-Ukraine war will boost crypto adoption and dollar marginalization. And then our old friend Elizabeth Warren, during all of this Russia-Ukraine stuff, she says, I've been ringing the alarm bell on crypto, from consumer protection to environment to national security, especially since Russian elites can use digital assets to undermine sanctions. POTUS is right to spotlight crypto's risks, and we need strong rules before it's too late. So there's Elizabeth Warren trying to do what she thought she couldn't do before, now that she's got the crisis she needs. That's Rahm Emanuel's, that's the way he does things, and I'm sure she's a disciple. John Deaton then posts the Joseph Lubin, where he's talking about helping to disguise whale purchases in the Ethereum ICO, and he says, Ripple publishes XRP market reports detailing XRP sales. Library.com provides a link detailing every transfer of LBC, their token, I guess. In return, Library and Ripple get sued. Look who the SEC gave a free pass to. Yes, sir, this will continue to be the disguised elephant in the room. Now, UK, this is pretty interesting. We were hearing a week or two ago about whispers that the UK might ban Bitcoin. Now it says UK financial regulatory body instructs Bitcoin ATMs to shut down after being declared illegal. Uh-oh. Now, I could not remember if I covered this tweet. Now, this graphic right here has been going around for a long time. It's an old graphic. But why is Elon Musk on March 9th, 2022, all of a sudden tweeting this graphic out? You know, I've always said on this channel, the second that someone comes out and says I'm Satoshi Nakamoto and proves it by sending Bitcoin or sending Bitcoin from what's known as the Satoshi Nakamoto wallet, Bitcoin maxis have a huge freaking problem on their plate, because that's the moment that this party's over, because then you've gone from something decentralized to centralized with a person or an entity that is known, and that's a problem. That's a big, huge problem. And that is why I've never bought in, or at least in recent times, I just don't buy the Bitcoin thing. I don't believe Wall Street would go all in on this thing if they didn't know who created it. I don't think they could. All right, Digital Pound Foundation, a wonderful quote from James Wallace, Ripple's VP of Central Bank Engagement and Digital Pound Foundation Steering Committee member. Move money like information. Why would the Digital Pound Foundation be tweeting something like that? And then we've got a lot going on with this whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Janet Yellen says Americans will likely see another year of very uncomfortable high inflation. Janet told us last year that she was confident inflation would ease this year. Yeah, these people are never right, and they're probably intentionally never right. This is a good tweet right here. The Fed will never warn you of a coming recession. They'll happy talk everything until the bitter end. In 2007, they told you subprime was contained and not a threat to the economy. In 2021, they told you inflation was transitory and everything was awesome. Ministry of Misinformation. And then there's this. Remember Alan Greenspan, who used to run the Fed?
Well, you know what's interesting is gold is still significant. I ask myself if it's a relic of a long history, why is there $1 trillion held in gold by the world's central banks, plus the IMF and all the other financial institutions? If it's worthless and meaningless, why is everybody still holding it?
Let me fill you in, folks, and I'm going to whisper this for emphasis. You don't have to believe me, and I may never be able to prove it, but I don't care. I've been in this space since 2013. Let me whisper it for effect here. Someone, not a libertarian, not a libertarian in his bathrobe, created Bitcoin. A government or someone or a three-letter agency is who created Bitcoin. I don't know which government, I don't know which three-letter agency, but a government or a government / three-letter agency created this because they don't want you going into physical gold. I'm telling you, that's the fact, Jack. And like I said, I can't prove it, it doesn't matter. Here's what matters. Is don't ever forget about God's money, which is gold.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.